In this video, I'm going to give you some tips for how to collaborate on an animation project. I've had quite a variety of experiences with collaborating on animations, as well as experiences of just collaborating outside of animation on projects that didn't have anything to do with animation, and I think a lot of those lessons also carry across. Here are 6 lessons that I learned when it comes to collaborating with others. Tip number 1, have an established leader. Please have an established leader. This leader should have the power to veto decisions. In my opinion, the worst kind of films are the ones that are made by committee decision, because they lack attitude, they lack personal expression. Like, if there's a tug of war going on between 2 different sides, you'll probably end up with something in the middle, and that will be boring. It won't know what it is, it won't have any attitude, it'll just be trying to please too many people. That to me is not a good work of art, it doesn't make a good statement. And yeah, in my experience, when there is no elected leader, everyone suffers. Tip number 2, everyone on the team should share a common goal. What is the purpose of your film? At least that way, when you're having disagreements, you all want the same thing. So you're all trying to go for the same thing, and you're just disagreeing about how to get there. You're not disagreeing about, what it is you actually want, what it is you're trying to do. So get that established first. What is the bigger picture goal that you're trying to do? Tip number 3, and this is going to be a controversial one, guys. Cut people from the team who aren't pulling their weight. It really is the case that one bad apple affects the rest. It's actually very common that in your group projects, there are going to be the people that do the work and the people that work really well with others, and the people who do not do the work. There might be a negative Nancy in the group who's always quick to criticize other people's ideas but never provides ideas of their own. Or that member of the group who completely ghosts you for the whole time but then shows up at the end to collect the award. Don't put up with that. Cut them from the team. Tip number 4 is frequent communication. Frequent communication. And I'm going to be real, guys, I think I can still improve on this one. I think I can take it further. It's been a recent goal of mine to communicate frequently with team members and with clients. There's a thing in group productions called bottlenecks, and they are what should be your number 1 priority. A bottleneck is when, let's say, a decision or a file upload or something rests with you. Well, until you send your message to the other person, they can't do their job. So it's held up with one person, basically. And that's what you want to look out for. That's your priority. And with frequent communication, it just reduces that buffer time that everyone has when the project is going. So back in the day, when people would send me a file to look at, I used to wait until I had collected my thoughts and structured this point of view, and then eventually gone to type it, and then eventually send it off once I was happy with it. Now, in a way that is good, because it means that it's very well thought out and there's not going to be any misunderstanding. However, I've now upgraded that way. Nowadays, I send a little pre-message to that message. So it might say something like, received the file, I'm going to look at it after lunch today. It takes little to no extra time to send that extra email or message, and it puts the other team member at ease because they know that you've received the file, and they also know when they can expect a reply. So they can kind of schedule it into their day, they know to check their messages at that time, and it just helps. It helps to reduce those buffer times. Tip number 5 is efficient communication. So the last one was frequent communication, this one's efficient communication. And I learned this one from Tim Ferriss. I really like his stuff. He's a very good author when it comes to efficiency and effectiveness. So for this, you can basically load multiple emails into a single email using if statements. For example, you could ask someone in an email, are you able to work on shot 28? If yes, here's the link to where you can download the file. If no, is there anyone you can recommend? Now, you see what I did there is it's in a single email, and instead of there being a back and forth of about 4 emails where it would be, are you able to work on shot 28? Wait for the answer. Yes, I am. Go back to you. Okay, here's the link to where you can download it. Instead, it's, if yes, here's the link to where you can download it, already in the first email. Or if no, you see what I mean? There's less back and forth communication, less buffer time, more effective at communicating. And that's just an example of a very simple if statement, but you could do option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if option 1. So you could actually make these quite complex if you wanted to, and just, you're basically front loading the options and things, and you're thinking ahead. All right, tip number 6, and it is an opinion one. If you have a budget that you can use to pay one of your animators, pay them. And I'm not saying this to be a charitable kind of thing, like, you know, take pity on them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that people are way more accountable when they are being paid for a job that they have to do. It puts it at number 1 on their list of priorities instead of being down at number 9 or 10. If they get paid, they start to show up on time. They hand files in on time. They bring their best quality with them. They work to the best of their ability. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in that, but there are some exceptions. And the exceptions you'll see are on videos or projects for charitable causes. In charity projects, the opposite is true. Studies have shown that people are more motivated in charity projects when they are not being paid. And that's because of the pride they have in the work. In those specific cases, if you pay your volunteers for their work, it will conflict with their altruistic intentions. Now, as an extra bonus tip, I want to talk about my favorite method of communication with other animators and editors and things like that. And that is through doing video screen recordings. So now the technology is so good that you can just very quickly record your own screen with audio, a bit like how I do in these YouTube videos, and just send that as like personalized videos to the people you're working with. For one thing, you don't have to describe with words what you're trying to mean. You can just go to the exact frame that you're trying to talk about, and you can demonstrate things for them, and they can actually see with their own eyes and hear at the same time what you're doing. It's a really good way of getting on the same page and making sure that there is no miscommunication with what scene you might be referring to, or what action you're referring to, what layers, and so on. So when I bring on board a new animator onto a project, I give them a little tour of the file they'll be working in. I open up all of the layers, I explain what part is on what layer, what the color coding means of the different layers, other information like that, so that they feel acquainted instantly after watching that video. They understand how the project file has been laid out. I think I might link one of these personalized videos in the description so that you can go and see what that kind of video looks like. They're not as polished as these videos because they're just kind of one-on-one conversations with either my animator or my editor. And I work with a variety of different animators for things like in-betweens, coloring, cleanup, things like that. Now, I think this video topic is especially important to those of you who are thinking of collaborating or participating in the Animator Guild Short Film Contest 2021. Yes, you are allowed to collaborate on an entry for the contest. And yes, you are even allowed to pay people to work on your film for the contest. Like I said before, it's good for the economy. In the real world, you can pay people, you can subcontract people. I do it quite a lot. You can read all about the film contest. It's free to sign up on animatorguild.com. It's going to remain open for quite a while, so do check it out. It's how I got my start in animation. If you make a short film within the specifications of the contest, it will be shown to thousands of people. So take advantage of this. Don't wait around. The time is now. Hit the like button if you learned something new in this video. Hit the notification icon so that you can see new videos when they come out. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.